Hello, thank you for being here with us in our New Life series, educational series with Dr. Michael Laitman. Hello, Dr. Laitman. Hello, everyone. Hello, Nitza Mezuz. Hello. And here we're talking about the new life in the field of communication, and we want to highlight a specific subject, a very important subject. I can say myself about the influence of the media on kids and teens. There's no way to ignore that the generation growing up today is very different from my generation, your generation. And in our discussion, we want to present all kinds of phenomena that we attribute to this era of communications. We want to present things and analyze them and understand where it comes from, and especially to learn the wisdom of life that you're teaching us here from your approach as people, as a society, from your approach of how we should develop. Nitza, how would you like to present this? So the first phenomenon is the desire to be famous. Many kids and teens want to be famous. Ask any kid what they want when they grow up. They say, I want to be famous. Doesn't matter what. It doesn't really matter. The main thing is, let me be famous. I'll be famous and I'll handle it from there. Everything will be accessible. If he's in the mafia, most kids and teens, their image is very important to them. They want to be celebrities in a positive manner. Psychologically, it appears that a kid is looking at the lives of the wealthy, very glittery lives, that they're so happy and everything's great, and they look at that and they want to be like them. So he thinks to himself in some way, if I'm famous like them, then maybe I'll be happy and like I see on the screen. Therefore, we think that it comes from there. It would be interesting to hear your idea about this. What do you think of this idea of being famous? First of all, inside this term of celebrity, there's all kinds of food, sex, and family. We know these are basic desires that we have that belong to our body. And afterward, money, intelligence, respect. Apparently money they also get by being famous. Respect, of course, that's also in the same place. And intelligence, wisdom, it's apparently not so important. Once it was important to be smart. That time has passed because humanity already understands that from wisdom you don't get pleasure, that from wisdom you get all kinds of things. People buy the wisdom and they get power from it. And now it's clear that power is more important than having brains. We figured this out over the last few years in the 20th century. Now the fact that teens still have inclinations to be famous is clear. And it's not necessarily so suiting for our time, but it's always been more or less the inclination to advance. Maybe not to be famous, but to advance in life, to have this urge, this inclination. It was always in developing people. That's what attracts him to life, to develop this desire in us. It doesn't matter if it's in the 21st century or other times or what will be in the future. Those same inclinations, money, wisdom, respect, they're changing, but in a young person, and especially that's his natural urge, therefore we need to see it as things that are, they were always like that, but we weren't so aware of it. And maybe today there's greater options for teens. In the old days, he used to get a bit further than his father in the family business or move from the village to the city. But actually, there were quite limited conditions. Today, it appears that the whole world is ahead of you. You're connected with everyone. You see the celebrities all over the world. You get excited about people who are recognized by everyone. Then, of course, you have an appetite in accordance with that. That's what's exciting you and giving you this new desire. I want to raise a question here. Is this need to be famous that we identify in kids and teens today, is it a healthy thing? It's very healthy. This is how humanity is advancing. It's a natural urge that a little child has. He wants to have something, he wants to have more, he wants to be great, he wants to organize his toys and not other people doing it. There's like this and like this in society. There's influencers and there's those that are influenced. In every kindergarten, every school, it's clear. But everyone actually has this inclination to acquire respect, because that's how a person feels the human in him. We see this also at in the animals. There's someone leading and determining everything, and then everything is his. He's in control. Therefore, this inclination is natural. It exists in us in a more abstract manner than the continuation of the generation from building life, in building life. But it's at a greater measures, more abstract, but it's a natural inclination. You're talking about this natural inclination to acquire respect and appreciation from others. It depends on others. If a group of monkeys or something, I need to be the one in charge, because there it's also very obligating. You have to look after everyone. You have to be the leader. It's a role. It's a very serious role. That if they come, that if the enemies come, you have to go out and fight them, and the others are after you, come after you. You're the one to go first. That's what we see in animals. And not that you're hiding behind everyone. The same for human society. So being famous, we need to play it correctly with kids. You want to be famous, you have to be smart. You have to be intelligent, you have to learn, you have to know how to relate to people. You have to know how to present yourself. You have to learn how to act. You have to learn how to lecture, how to speak. How do you want to be famous? You have to be more than others. In what? This requires tons of energy from you. Even the greatest mafia guy, the head of the mafia, it's not a simple person. He understands, he's sophisticated, he's sneaky, he's intelligent. Until he reaches that stage, he goes through lots of verifications, lots of struggles. It's not a joke. It's nerves, it's power. It's always advancing. We need to precisely, through this urge the kids have to be famous, to show them what they need to be famous, to be truly famous, why they can achieve it. They achieve it only very strong people achieve it. People who have a great desire, that this desire obligates them to work on themselves. They need to improve themselves, to acquire lots of things. That would be true before the era of communications. Today, kids are met with all kinds of situations that create shortcuts in this internet age we're living in, that even if you're not even if you're not more excellent or Today, on the silliest things, people get world fame because of the media, because of communications. People can become famous. As a parent, there are very rare cases, but every day there's a case like that. But it's like part of our culture. You participate in some stupid reality show. That's just temporary. That's what I understand as an adult, but what do I do with the next generation of kids and teens that are growing up on these insights, these things in society, that they're getting all this fame and respect and status and money and everything, are people who from nothing because of the media, but they had some special thing. That boy that came up with Facebook or Google. I know their biography a bit. That was preparation. Apart from that, they're brilliant. I'm not talking about famous people at that level. Those are geniuses. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the systems that developed in communication that today, over the most ridiculous thing, you can be from some silly little thing. The reality stars are the best example, because there's reality that takes more abilities like singing and everything, which is great, gives them an opportunity to develop. Sometimes it's a reality show about nothing. They put a few people in a room, and there's nothing special about them, and they can suddenly become what everyone's talking about. Yes, but for how long does it last? From today to tomorrow it lives. During the period, it's usually 2 or 3 months. It's all the time. Then they have a year or 2 or 3 to take advantage of the wave. If they're talented, they remain. If not, then of course they disappear. But it's still an example. It's an example for teenagers and youngsters. They see they don't need to learn to develop themselves and their abilities. There's shortcuts. So the question is, can we cancel their need to be famous like those people? I don't think it's worth it for us to minimize this inclination. I think we just have to direct it in the right direction. What do you mean? To direct it toward achievements that aren't temporary, that are good for people and the environment, through which these inclinations, they can succeed truly in things that are true and genuine, that last, that there's a result, a wide-lasting positive result for everyone, not just to be laughing on TV for half an hour and then a few dozen other people watching him. I understand that for them it's their whole life in the meantime, for teens. But the media has to do educational work, how to use the little child or teen with this huge urge that he has to raise them to another stage. Let's go to the next phenomenon. I would take them to activities, to dancing, to painting, speaking, theater, doesn't matter what. You want to be famous? Here, let's do it. So at least in the meantime, you're developing them. Whatever comes of it, doesn't matter. At the top, there's not a lot of room. There's millions of people and millions of groups that want to reach the top. But in the meantime, they're going up in their values and abilities and their ability to express themselves. And the main thing is their ability to connect, to have a wider perspective, You're teaching them in all these things. They don't remain pets. They need to rise up. They need to acquire some kind of special philosophy for life. Be a good actor. Doesn't matter what. They need to be developed. You need to use it to develop them. That's what I want to say. And in this media, the media have to promote this knowledge and also promote to what extent those people, despite them appearing to be nothing but just rising stars out of nothing, there's no star that goes up that doesn't come down. That those people, look how hard they worked on themselves. Once I saw part of training, part of training Michael Jackson, rehearsing. It's really tough work. The people next to him and he himself, they're sweating. A ton of sweat is coming down the floor. They clean it afterwards. And every movement, you know, his style and everything. It's easy for you to see it and say, I want to be like him. But look what they do, and learning the plastic and how a person moves, and look how much they learn. It's not simple at all. I'm not talking about natural talent. Behind every star and star, there's very hard work, great efforts, and not just in his field, his specific field, where he sings and jumps around a bit. He needs a lot of preparation and lots of knowledge and what he's expressing, because it becomes not just throwing your hands and feet around, it becomes like a language. What he wants to convey to you, it's very, very internal and deep things. And the media need to explain this to kids, that it's not so simple that they just come with the guitar and hang out and play. If you want to be truly famous, you need to be prepared for it. I have a question. If your grandchild came up to you and said, Grandpa, I really, really want to be famous, and I understand that you're a special grandfather, you're a smart grandfather, and you're especially smart. Tell me this secretly, if I want to be famous tomorrow, what's the next trend I should catch on to be in advance of everyone and be famous? What will people respect tomorrow? What should I be? Tomorrow, they will respect people that will know how to make a good connection between people, the correct connection between people, an effective connection, beneficial connection. That is the only profession that people will seek out. Everything else, people will only deal based on the basic necessities. Only someone who knows how to make good connections, not virtually, not virtual connections, to build a system of connection between us like it is in nature. But we need to research how we are connected in nature and ourselves to implement that same connection as it is in nature. Someone who knows how to research, to analyze, to write a program, a plan, to write a method, to prepare people for that, to educate people, to organize things, and bring humanity to that network of connection in nature. Those people will be the most in demand, the most known, the most famous, and they'll be most respected. That's what I would tell him. Let's say my grandchild, who's 10 years old, more even, he has writing capabilities. So they're always pushing him, they're always encouraging him, write like this and like that, write all kinds of stories, write for school, for kids' booklets. We have to see what the child is attracted to. Let's make the connection, because now you gave an example of a talent. Then I said to myself, how do I take a talent like a child for drawing, singing, or dancing, writing, and I connected to what you said, that it's effective. Wow, it's really effective. There's nothing in our culture. What do they want to be famous by? By some, in some cultural manner, yes, usually. A painter, I don't know, a musician depends what, but at the end of the day, by expressing a person's soul, this is how they become famous. Even that same cook, he needs to take out of himself what he wants to present to you in beauty and in color and smell. It's art. Everything through which we can be famous is by knowing to express something that's inside us, and in which way we can present it so that people will enjoy it. Therefore, a person needs to learn many things for that. Psychology and sociology and philosophy. He needs to know how people connect. Everything. The wisdom of the masses, collective intelligence. It's a profession. It's not possible. I'm not talking about those people that jump on the TV screen from today to tomorrow and disappear. I want to expand it a little bit, because I feel that there's a point to verify even deeper. Let's say cooking and singing. That's on the screen a lot. It's new trends. The cooking, when we see kids cooking, and it's really, you said there's something that a person is expressing his soul. How is this expression connecting to building a better network of connection between people? What am I cooking for? Who am I cooking for? What's the difference between my cooking 20 years ago and now I want to cook? That I'm adding this intention that I want to connect people. What's the difference? Make it into a complete performance, a big party where people connect, where everybody brings something, and in that way there's connection between them, that through this connection, first I thought how to present my food. Now I'm thinking how, along with everyone, what we're presenting, how we're presenting our desire to connect through this, how we relate to one another. It doesn't really matter what we're eating, actually. It becomes marginal. But even that's also important, but it's a reason to be connected, and then we rise from a level of pleasure in this world to a level of inner pleasure, more spiritual pleasure. So you mean cooking becomes a means, singing or anything becomes a means? At the end of the day, humanity hasn't gone through anything apart from supplying itself food for the body and food for the soul. That's it. What else do we have? So through the media, I would encourage the youngsters to learn a profession It has to do with connecting between humans. It looks like some department that's missing. And until today, people always express themselves, but now you're adding another element that how through my personal expression, I'm actually helping others connect between them. That's the extra part. I put myself in the center of the circle. The more I connect people, that's how I become in demand and famous. I'm filling myself. By organizing it, people become dependent on me. There's like a very great challenge here for a young person. And then it's worth it for me to attract them to it. There's with what to attract them. We'll move on to the next one. This is addiction to surfing on the internet, on all the social networks. There's research showing that teens in Israel are almost at the top ranking of the addicts. Over 30% spend more than 4 hours surfing the internet. So first of all, what is there in this virtual realm that attracts them so much, our teens? Here we're also in a transition period. I don't think it will continue for very long because our desire is changing. We always need to take into account what the engine is, the drive, the reason, the first reason for all the changes that we're seeing in society, only our inner desire. And our inner desire is what's changing. And it's suddenly, as it found pleasure in surfing the net and finding all kinds of things, it's becoming more verifying, is it worth it or is it not worth it? Like, there's no TV now. We used to watch 2 channels, and that's it. There was nothing apart from that, and everyone was glued to the TV. Then instead of 2 channels, you have 1,000 channels, and nobody's watching. The same goes for the internet. Everyone's there a few hours, and there's a wide choice, and anyone can go into anything, especially teenagers. They have sex and all kinds of adventures and those games. Not just teens, but I'm talking about kids from a younger and younger age. They're really addicted. They're addicted. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of it. Why? I'm sure that it's temporary. The desire will change. In a few years, you'll have new teens that it won't be attractive for them. It won't be attractive. What is there in that? This and this and that. They'll have new urges. But why today is it attracting them? Let's focus on the current generation. They're receiving pleasure from seeing all kinds of things. First of all, I can choose. On TV, I can't really choose. And also, this format, it's dragged out, and I don't really control it. I'm not capable. But on the internet, it's different. On the internet, I can turn it back and forth. I'm above time. On TV, I watch a film. I go out for a quarter of an hour. What happened? I don't know. I want to come back to something. I can. I look sometimes at National Geographic films or all kinds of science channels. And I'm watching and I fall asleep. Excuse me, but that's how it is. And I want to see it again. I can't. Where am I going to go look on the internet or where it is, that show? I'm watching for a quarter of an hour and you missed it. That's it. On the internet, they're above time. There's a tremendous choice. There's an archive, 20 last years, whatever you want. That's from the aspect of viewing. And about communication and writing to others, there's also endless. There's a limit, and there's a certain age that's stuck into it and not other things. And we see that it passes with the age. Their desire changes. The desire inside a person changes. And it also changes from generation to generation. So what today people are addicted 4 hours a day, kids are on the internet. I don't think it will last I don't think it will be there in a few more years. Just like the movies and mobile phones, people will get used to it being part of connecting. They see an inclination to be connected to each other. Let's use it. Let's advance them to an unlimited connection. At the end of the day, what do they want? They want to see a few smileys, a few silly things. They want to feel that they're always in contact. This ping pong. Let's see how to use it correctly to bring them to the new connection, more internal. It's clear that if you show them, if you give them awareness, then their level of connection rises. They can't stand these clicks and silly stuff that's filling the social networks. They're transitioning to something else. We need to educate them. And then you won't see, you'll see them addicted to something else. I want to be on a network that will raise me up, that fills me, because our desire is always growing. And I always need to measure how I fill it. And if I can't fill it, give me drugs, give me medication. I have no choice. I'm sad. I have an empty life. So either I'm confusing myself with all these SMSs, or I'm lying down in despair.
I see in all the actions of, and all that the youth do today, it's an inner urge that simply pushes them toward connection, to unite, and they can't find help with the elders, with the grown-ups, with the previous generation, how to correctly realize themselves, because the grown-ups, they're complete dinosaurs. They have nothing to do with connection, and the internet generation, and the mobile phones. We're using the same equipment for our previous needs, for the previous generation. What to buy, how are you, Mom, what's happening? They're using it for their needs. They fill it with foolishness according to their age. But how can we pull them to the next level? That's the question. And that is the question for the media. Whoever's going to be big in this aspect, he'll benefit. You have to develop new programs and new software and places on the internet that can also be, so they can also be emotionally connected between them. And not only in the virtual world, also in the physical world, to organize festivals. And really that it happens day to day, that people can unite, and the round tables, and talk, and performances, to give people the chance to be more connected, to fill the time and place. The people that are falling out of the working market, that become unemployed, what happens to them? They sit at home, they're bored, watch the internet, watch TV, lay on the couch, smoking something, drinking beer, tranquilizers. What do they do there? Why don't we bring them into further connection between them? What joy and happiness we could introduce into their lives, but that's the work of the media. The media, it's not, they're not supposed to bring information, but they're supposed to connect people. What's the media here? What does that mean? Today, media is, it's according to who pays and how much. So who exactly are they connecting? Truth is that there's this research that is very alarming. It was publicized about a month ago in China, where they claim that the children, especially because they're young, well, they're addicted to the internet and this kind of media. They call it the white stuff of the brain. It changes, the structure changes, and the concern is, will it not influence them psychologically in one way or another? It's a kind of a result already. Unless we put in the educational, emotional, human element into this, then of course the values and the whole education comes from that network. What's so wondering about it? On the one hand, they're in the so-called social networks, but on the other hand, they have a very hard time to really be connected. Their true social skills are, we talked about it, that the media, internet, and mobile phones, it only disconnects people. It's easier for me to talk to him by phone than talk to him face to face. I feel that I'm behind some kind of a separating screen. It's more security. There's no good without bad. There has to be the revelation of evil, and I hope that it'll come quickly. We could speed it up through our actions, but actually, of course, the same way they disconnected from television and the television gradually goes into the internet, the same we'll see here, that it will be so unsatisfying for them that it'll start simply confusing them, and then we'll suddenly feel, both in terms of how many hours do you watch, but they don't have anything else to do. Yeah, there's nothing that could come in instead. Yes, and we'll see according to the time that people use their mobile phones. I think that we'll really see this in a constant decline. How much do I need to talk? I don't know. I talk maybe up to 10 times a month. You're from the dinosaurs, pre-dinosaur time. Today's children, he sees reality through the camera of his mobile, meaning he doesn't see reality. Where is it then? And this is exactly the question. There's a great difference between the generation you grew in and the generation I grew in. The question is, there's another question. I don't know how to use this instrument the way you do, obviously. But the question's not about that. The question is, what is it that he sees more than what I am? What do you mean? I'm asking. What is it that he wants to see? What pushes him to watch? What is his psychology? What is his desire that this is exactly how he wants to see these things and not otherwise? What pushes him and what holds him back. That's exactly what we're asking as the generation of the parents. Yeah, what does he see that we don't? For him, that's life. Life is there. And also what you brought up, what propels you and what holds you back. You can't fight this phenomenon. No, I'm not against it. How do you identify the positive motivating means? What propels us to see the world, to be connected with everyone? This urge is a natural urge that develops in us. And this is why we have developed communication systems, and we see how truly demanded they are, on the one hand. On the other hand, we did not connect to the abilities of the media and the communication systems, no human component. It's simply a machine that doesn't present actually anything. It doesn't have a soul. Is your connection now through these cables, through these frequencies, these abilities to bring you to a closer kind of connection, to a warmer kind of connection that fills you up? They're looking all the time. They can't find. They're looking for the connection there all the time. But it's not the media. It's not that I come to connection through them. It's not that I communicate through them, that I connect through them. That's what's missing there. Meaning programs that will propel them toward a more correct connection between them. What do you mean by programs that will drive you to greater connection with others? The human part in us which is above the animalistic part, is the one who creates culture, movies, art, poetry, movies, something that expresses a person's internality, the feelings. We are the will to receive, a desire that feels fulfillment from different phenomena. Food I feel in my belly, and also not only. It feels much beyond that. But I'm not talking about the corporeal food, but about the so-called spiritual food. Music, singing, and so on. Where are these fulfillments inside these, inside this hardware, inside this chunk of metal or plastic? Where is it? It's not there. Therefore, we're not using it yet. Humanity is engaged in it, but doesn't exactly know what to do with it. These tools eventually have to express a person's internality. What do we enjoy? So there's songs there and dance and other things. I can see these things, but actually, I don't know how to say this. This is not the purpose for which they exist. They exist in order to eventually connect between us, to bring us to excitement, to a new kind of feeling, an excitement from the connection. That's the new kind of desire that's growing. I don't know what else is there to say. One of the phenomena that we see today with youth and children is that there is this constant put up another status, another photo, another activity, another something on Facebook, and the more friends I have, the more known I am, the more appreciated, and so on. You say that they want connection, and these actions, the things that they do, they express connection the way I see it. I'm not sure that it makes my child happier eventually. Seemingly, yeah, he wants to have as much more and more and more, but I, as a parent, I see some kind of an obsessive race. Sure, it's like this game, Tamagotchi. Yeah, right, Tamagotchi. It's the same. Yeah, but today it's not a game. When it reaches extreme points, it can create social anxiety, violence. People or children or youth that commit suicide because they were humiliated on Facebook. The media world in which we live today, that's why I said you're like a pre-dinosaur compared to the children of today. Me as well. You more nonetheless. We simply don't get. We as if live on a different earth than they live on. We're trying to somehow express and hear from you how something happened here, meaning the communication era. I'm talking about something in history. It already made a kind of a revolution that created a completely new kind of life, completely different than all that we knew. As a result of the new desire that starts with people, a desire to unite. This is why it developed. It didn't simply develop because someone came and said, I feel like it, but because among people awakens now a desire to unite. And therefore there is an urge to develop the media and people's desire to use the media, only still this thing is in transition, is in a transitional phase. They don't know how to correctly use it. Both their desire is not scrutinized yet, and also the media still doesn't answer the right need for it to reveal. I have a question. You say that we're in a transitional phase and we don't know how to use it correctly. Let's depict the people, the children of the world. They're all living in the network, connected to this, to that, regardless how. I can't follow the different kinds of tools that they're creating in order to connect, but they're connected, suppose, and they ask you one question. They're connected and they're asking what kind of global project can you offer us, boys and girls from around the world, that will take us a step forward, will bring us from the transitional phase on which different phenomena, that not all of them are good, some are tremendous and great, filling our lives, but part of them are very unpleasant, and every child or youth experiences it one way or another. What kind of a project do you offer us to open on the network for children and youth? What should it be that will propel us? I take all the youth in the world, everyone, from the ages of 12 to 18, suppose. They're much earlier. 12, you're already coming to a grown-up. 10, 8. From the moment he has fingers, he's already... Suppose, okay. And I tell them, you, youngsters, you're the youngsters, yes. You want to control the world? Yes, yes, good. When you'll be the grown-ups, for you to be the grown-ups that will lead the world, not the dinosaurs. Yes. You're the new generation, the humans, and they're really on the animalistic level. Let's do it. Let's build the new life, the new world. Really, new world. Let's turn our world into something else. You want to be famous, well-known, great, no problem. Let's rise to a level of pleasure, fulfillment, feeling that is virtual, that suits the connection between us. Look, it's not a simple, the Tamagotchi we talked about. We start feeling a dependence on a kind of a plastic, which you have to push a button, you have to take care of it. You relate to it a part of your soul that becomes alive. And that care really grabs you, it necessitates you and also fills you. It's not in vain that people can't throw it away. That you put into it a part of your soul, for you it became something alive. You can't simply throw it this way out of the window of the car onto the street. You turn something, you connect a part of your life to it. It's something that is alive. How come it's alive? It's alive because this is how you relate to it. You passed on to it a part of your living degree. Let's do the same with the connection between us. For that to be as a Tamagotchi. We'll start connecting between us and creating between us this kind of a collective Tamagotchi, mutual Tamagotchi, into which each one puts his care into, warmth, beauty, above his own self, above himself. Let's start not only passing onto some plastic that we build, some kind of a network, some kind of a system that will be our Tamagotchi, but let us ourselves start living in it, feeling that there, inside that connection between us, that is really where our true life is. Our bodies are here, and my consciousness, myself, is there. And of course, it's not an explanation that you can give in 1 minute like I did. It has to come gradually, through talk, through conversations, and so on. But bit by bit, gradually, let's build it. Let's build our world. The kingship of the youth, the young generation, their dominion. How it will be different than the world of the adults today on the social network? If I'm in touch with youth, then today the virtual world allows you to do whatever you feel like. I already have that kind of a world. You have nothing in today's virtual world. Sorry for saying that, but what do they have new is that they rise to a new level. They disconnect from the self and enter the we. They disconnect from the me and connect to the we, and that's the new degree of the global integral society that starts feeling a new phenomenon of nature. They're a higher level called Adam, human, on which they feel themselves on a new dimension. They enter this new matrix. What is this access code that allows them to cross from the me to the we? Because all of us become a part of it, and I want to be among them, and I care for them like for that Tamagotchi. So therefore, they truly suck me into it, and suddenly I feel like we discover now in crowdsourcing, in the wisdom of the masses. I start feeling a life beyond my own. It's the next level of our development. This is why we're attracted to connection, through this plastic, through the media, through everything. But the next level, this is the next level. The good thing about the Tamagotchi was that you as a person have to treat him, but didn't get anything back from him. That was good? No, I mean that's why it ended. Yes, that's why it ended. Plastic stays plastic. Here, no, it's something else. There's a human level above me, higher than myself. Meaning, how does it become something where I truly feel that that it's not only I that care for this plastic? No, I get 1,000,000,000 times more than I put in. And it's not that I get from there, I also get there because I cross onto there. I don't stay where I am. I am there with my soul, connected with everyone. It turns into something that it unites and becomes one body out of many, many parts. Out of the warmth created, it truly becomes one body. And it's not that I get from there. I get the feeling, the appreciation, understanding, everyone's warmth. That is the new degree of human existence, and I hope that the media will allow us to reach this state as quickly as possible. If we say that the youth in the world accept this project that you're offering and they'll build the youth kingship, the new world, as a parent, today I truly fear and am concerned about the negative effects that my kids can absorb from today's network. In the new kingship, what will I feel as a parent? Will it give me confidence that my child will feel good? It all depends on the educators, on the managers of this network, this new network. How will they guide the network? According to which protocol, to which laws, to which rules will this network exist? What is its goal? Destiny. Its goal is to be as correspondent to nature as possible, to be global, integral, united, equal, to not harm the other, to love others, because this is how you get deeper in. You'll start grading who is on what level of connection and correspondingly is closer to the center. Start evoking them that accordingly you're greater, you're more influential, you're more respected. Start working with all that they have in order to push them further in. And parents have nothing to fear about because we're acting according to nature, we're advancing toward it naturally. It's not that someone does something because he feels like it. It's not that we take these kids in order to do something bad or to get something out of them. Everyone's there together. The parents can join too. It's open for everyone. You have to build it and the stages of the grading of how people advance from the outside into the center of that network and how much they can add and get from it. It's the entrance into a new kind of feeling according to our new desire that only now starts to depict in us. Our time is up. One last sentence. How do you see the influence of the media over children and youth from this moment and on? to help children reach the realization of this, to help them as quickly as possible and peacefully to undergo the transitional phase. That's it. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Laitman. Thank you, Nitsa Mazos. Thank you, everyone. Till next time, all the best.